here we are with the PFJ, issues with kinematically aligned TKA. What we want to know, what's the role of third compartment, what happens with alignment phenotypes and PFJ, and do they affect clinical outcomes? What is the impact of prosthetic trochlea orientation? And how should we optimize PFG in KA? We all know that very patellofemoral anatomy is very variable. Different tilt, angle, TTTG, trochlea orientation. We also see how the normal knee moves. And you see that we want to reproduce intratenous similar flow with lateral articulation, normal postural rollback. Role of third compartment with wide anatomical variability is influenced by coronal alignment. That's very important, and we all know about CPACs and different classification. But very poor tools to balance and measure conventional navigated and robotic TKA. And native trochlea is different in TKA implant and influence alignment targets. Here is a paper who shows that most components that we use in femur has 6 degrees prosthetic trochlea angle. They are different components. In 41 of components, the 6 degree of prosthetic trochlea angle is too narrow to catch all the variables that we have and didn't match to native knee. There is the mismatch. That was the general idea that PTA should be increased to better funnel the patella, to catch the patella battle. We also know there is a mismatch between joint line and patellofemoral joint. That means patellofemoral joint is almost an independent factor for our story with kinematic alignment and TKAs. Third space has patellofemoral joint, but not just that. Extensor, quadriceps, medial lateral retinaculum. It's highly innervated, variable, unpredictably kinematically for surgeon. Balance flexion extension gap is something we aimed, but compromised the balance in patellofemoral joint in TKA. And we all have to admit we have limited measurement and analysis tools. All crees are not created equal. That's something we all know. It's published from Bellemans, and we are here because of that. Here is the presentation from a paper from Venditali, seminal paper who showed this plus minus 5 degrees, how many patients are in outliers. What is our story with functional knee phenotypes, with CPAC, and what's there the role of the patellofemoral joint? CPAC is very useful, but we cannot take that orientation because patellofemoral joint is absolutely not considered in that story. So that's something I show you already. We have that paper from 2019 from Michael Hirschman with 38 non-osteoarthritic knees, and you see how different the phenotypes are and how different is that from 90 degrees on the tibia and 90 degrees on the femur. No 16 or 30% has such thing. That means we have malalignment in 84% of DLFA and 70% of PMTA. Advantage in this matter is this KE reconstructs DLFA and restored PMTA. That means we restore the native joint line. We don't mismatch that. That's very recent paper. That means that phenotypes are even complex because there is a third compartment. And you can see here how there is the between all these different phenotypes. It's very complicated that we can say valgus has such patellofemoral joint, varus has such patellofemoral joint. It's very variable. But we have also the results. Here the people who are robotic users, say functional alignment users, group from Belgium and group from Austria, who showed that the kinematic alignment restores trochlear anatomy, kinematics and kinetics in TKA. That's a group from Belgium. And Klassan and group from Austria also showed that in different alignment strategies, the best patellofemoral movement in kinetics is in the group of kinematic alignment. Everything done with robotic modulation. I will share later on in our paper that will be published about long-term results. And there are some interesting things that came out. And if you see here on the huge cohort of the patients, preoperatively and postoperatively, we reconstruct very medial lateral distal angle. And that was the answer about question, how can we assess this radiologically? It means on the post-operative X-rays, on 206 patients, kinematically aligned, all deformities, no restrictions, we have very good restriction on that matter. But you see the changes are significant in MPTA, and these are the changes that we have in different CPEC groups. And you see pre-op and post-op, how the huge difference is. That means the CPECs 258 and CPECs 36147, they change their range, and they are not always reproducible. But CPEC change range in the nearest CPEC. If you go from CPEC 1 to CPEC 6, you made some kind of a mistake. 32% stays in CPEC, but 67% change. That's same with the population that's also published from Australian groups. That means we have that changes, and that's how our prosthetic trochlea, what I spoke, that is 6 degrees, and how normally our knees, our joints. How normally our how normally our patellofemoral joint moves. You see in this direction, and that it's much higher and bigger funnel than we have. That's something from Howell. I showed that when that subluxated patella was shown, and you see here he has in valgus phenotypes issues with, very rarely in his group, but issues with reoperation and patellofemoral instability. Postulated was that it's because of orientation of joint line. Then should be the prosthetic trochlea alignment, or that trochlea that is 6 degrees in most knees should be brighter, should be funneled bigger. There is also another study who showed that if it's the quadriceps line of force, if quadriceps line of force lies laterally, then prosthetic trochlea, that's good. But if they converge, like in this, comes to that quadriceps, that prosthetic trochlea angle is medial from quadriceps line of pull. That means that 6 degrees, in this case persona, had with a deviation of prosthetic of quadriceps line of pull, you have some kind of conflict on the lateral facet. I also published on this matter, and we analyzed almost 300 joints with 60% groove, and showed that the patients who have that deviation of quadriceps line of force that goes medially, not laterally to the groove, had worse or lower forgotten joint score and Oxford joint score. That means that if the line of pull is medially to trochlea orientation, you have that mismatch. The spherical axis is the easy to measure. You can measure it from the midpoint of the hip to the midpoint of the medial condyle. It's roughly reproduce the quadriceps pull. Then you can see how big the valgus is, and would you be in some kind of the conflict. That are the results. You see the group 3 of CPAC had much more patients with that medial pull of the quadriceps to prosthetic trochlea groove. That means we know that CPAC3 is under scrutiny when you are doing, and you have to think about patellofemoral joint and maybe to put the button behind. These are the results of the study which I show you later in the long-term results, and you see here that traffic light. Almost you have the very good CPACs. You have the CPACs that are red, and you have CPACs that are let's say in between. I think there will be talk about it, or it was already, about quadriceps tendon malalignment as an independent factor. I think that we are learning that that's something above the flange. Once again, prosthetic trochlea alignment and trochlea groove should be lateral to the quadriceps line of pull. And what we had prosthetic trochlea malorientation in our study a lot. We have 36% of the patients, and that negatively influenced our results. That means KUS and forgotten joint score were lower in the group where we have prosthetic trochlea malrotation. Once again, malrotation means that prosthetic trochlea groove and quadriceps line of pull are divergent. But that's not everything. We have abnormalities on the sagittal side and axial side, that we have patella baya, patella alta, we have lateralization, tilt. And you see in our study it was high prevalence, but not necessarily has something to do with the results. Revision rate in our cohort was 2.5 revision.
Dragan,
revision means that...
kindly summarize, Dr. Dragan. I think your time is...
Oh, time's up. Sorry. Just last. Future of kinematic alignment, patient selection, aware of alignment phenotype, implant selection. We have to have implant that's for that appropriate, and kinematic alignment solve patellofemoral joint, but we are in age of PFJ in TKA. Thank you, and hopefully we see you in Montreal.
Please.